Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Los Angeles Lakers have to play a game tonight against the San Antonio Spurs, 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. Another early game after getting their heads chopped completely off last night by the Phoenix Suns. I think the last thing anybody wants to do is watch another basketball game. This team running around. To be honest with you, I think we needed a break from the Lakers after how they've performed over the last three games. And unfortunately, that's just not happening. We got to go in to San Antonio. I'm sure they took a flight last night after that awful basketball game from Phoenix to San Antonio for a game less than 24 hours later against a surging, red hot San Antonio team who's just basically been the comeback kids. I watched highlights of their 4-game winning streak, and they've beaten two of the best teams in the Western Conference and the Utah Jazz twice. They beat up on the Jazz last night in the game where, that was the first highlights I watched, but they ran past the Jazz pretty easily at home and took care of business for their cup situation, which I'm sure capitalized on us, who dropped our cup situation last night. So I haven't looked at the standings on the cup, but I'm sure we've fallen dramatically after that loss. So that was one game. And then before that, I believe it was the Warriors, where they were down by as much as 20, and they came back and beat the Warriors. Wemby went crazy in the fourth quarter, showed his superstardom. That was the best Wemby game I'd ever seen, man. He was unbelievable, passing the rock, shooting the ball, mid-range threes, dunks, blocks, all of it. He looked amazing in that game. Um, Before that, they played the Utah Jazz, of course, as I had mentioned. That was the highlights I'm just fresh off of, where they were down big and came back and won again. I think they were down by 20 in this one as well and came back and won. And they were wearing their powder blue uniforms, for which the Spurs will be wearing tonight, and had that ugly floor that they got that's like brown, orange, and like some type of green. It's hideous, man. But that's what we're going to be seeing tonight. We'll be wearing yellow. But that's how they beat up on the Jazz 3 games ago. And then before that, they had a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, also one of the best teams in the Western Conference. No Wemby for that one, or the Jazz game I'm talking about with the ugly floor. And they beat the Thunder rather handedly without Wemby. Um, I don't know how they did it. They just beat up on the Thunder. They had a great Keldon Johnson game. He couldn't miss. And it's one of those inexplicable type of wins where you just sit up there saying, how the hell did they do that? With the Thunder being so good this year, Shea being on the floor, J-Dub being on the floor. I know Chet is gone, but it was eye-opening to see how well that Spurs team played against the Oklahoma City Thunder specifically. So this is a Thunder team that's just been beating up on people like left and right. A Spurs team, excuse me. They've just been beating up on everybody, man. And they've been coming back from big deficits and doing so. Strong second halves, the complete opposite of the Lakers, ironically enough, who've been dropping games in the third quarter in quit-like fashion. I'm so frustrated with my team, man. We saw the Spurs about 2 weeks ago. We went in there and played a strong game and won against a much improved Spurs team. But right now, we're running into a Spurs team that's even more improved. From there, you got Harrison Barnes playing well. Devin Vassell's not out there. Sohan's still gone. But as a result, you got players like Blake Wesley playing better. Julian Champagnie playing better. Mahmoud Skishvili, I don't know how to say his name. Forgive me, I butchered it. But he's playing good ball. Chris Paul's in a good rhythm for himself. Stephon Castle is breaking out, looking like one of the Rookie of the Year candidates for sure. So you just got a very good Spurs team right now, man. Trey Jones playing well off the bench. It just goes on and on. They got a really, really solid team playing really fantastic basketball. And even though they find themselves in these deficits somehow, they pull themselves out of it each and every time, and they're blowing past people. So yeah, this is the wrong team to run into at the wrong time for our Lakers, who are doing just awful confidence shot, players looking mentally broken, starting the lineup looking fragile, guys coming back from injury, other guys going down with injury. It's just a bad time. really needed the schedule makers to give us about 3 days off right now. And it just didn't happen. They gave us a back-to-back instead. I didn't even know we played today until well after the game ended. So last night I was telling y'all we see the Thunder next. No, that's too much like right. We had to play another game in San Antonio before we even get to the damn Thunder. So, I've seen basketball games go our way in situations like this, where when you run into a hot team, you've been playing horrible ball, you feel humiliated, you feel demoralized. What that ends up becoming in a lot of cases is a trap game for the other team. Because if they're paying attention to you, they feel like they could probably walk in and just waltz all over you. You're playing bad, they're playing great, but the thing about that is they're a young team, and sometimes, when you've been playing hard games and stuff like that, you've had 20-point deficits in 2 out of the last 4 games, you're itching for a loss, as I like to call it. A lot of times when teams are on winning streaks, but you see things that they're doing that if they do them against certain teams, that's not going to work. And them going down by 20 against a Laker team that's fragile right now but needs a win is probably not a good idea if you're the Spurs. So if I'm the Spurs coach, I'm saying this is a very unique trap game like situation where if you've been paying attention to the Lakers, you think you're about to push them over. They coming off a back-to-back where they got humiliated. And here we are beating up on teams like the Thunder and the Warriors. If I'm the Spurs, I feel like I should win this game. But they need not forget that that's Bron and Anthony Davis. So this is a trap game for the Spurs, believe it or not. That's exactly how I look at this. I think the Lakers have a chance to come into this building with no one having any real confidence in them and really blitz the Spurs. And because I've watched this game for so long, this is one of those games where it's a betting man's nightmare in a way. Because you expect the Lakers to lose. They've been playing like trash. Put all your money on the Spurs and just walk away feeling scot-free, and then you lose all your money. This is the exact type of game like that. It's a betting man's nightmare. I wouldn't put any money on this game, even though all signs point toward the Lakers coming in and collapsing. I've watched too much basketball. I've watched too much basketball. Some stuff is just like, yeah, I see the setup here. So, with that being said, the Lakers have given me no reason to believe that they're going to win this basketball game. No reason to believe that they're going to come and play any good at all. The Spurs are showing me every reason to believe that they're about to run away with this thing. And that is something that needs to be understood. Wemby's playing some of the best ball of his career. He's stepping into a superstar status that's going to be where he stays for a long time. Stephon Castle is becoming one of the better rookies of this entire thing. His 3 balls been falling. He's slashing at the rim. He's a fantastic playmaker. He's a very good defender. You got to deal with him. Harrison Barnes, like I said, he's in a great rhythm right now, hitting shots all over the place. Just, he's in great shape. He looks great right now. Keldon Johnson's playing some of the best ball of his career right now, especially shooting the ball. He looked great in these games. So, Novus Devin Vassell, we ain't got to worry about him, but now you're giving opportunities to the Blake Westleys. Now you're seeing more from some of these other guys, and they are capable, very, very capable. So this is a Spurs team that's just, all things considered, they should win this game tonight. They should, from a perspective of just looking at what the data shows you. They're surging in the right direction, and we've been crumbling mentally. Third quarters, we haven't scored over 20 points in the third quarter since probably the Orlando game. The Denver Nuggets beat the hell out of us, made us look foolish. And we turned around and flew into Phoenix and, wet the bed even worse in the same fashion. It's been a nightmare as a Laker fan. Honestly, these last 2 games have been 2 of the most embarrassing games we've had. Period. And, the Darvin Ham era feels like it's just re-entered the equation, to be honest with you. We got Darvin Ham demons that we've been dealing with. Losing games in embarrassing fashion, guys crumbling and quitting and not showing up. Defensive issues, transition defense as bad as it's ever been. Offensive rebounding issues, just giving them up left and right. This team's playing awful, man. They're playing awful, and it's showing a lack of fight that I don't respect, and just telling y'all right now, if they do this tonight, I don't know how much of this crap I'm gonna watch, to be honest with you. You know, but at the end of the day, like I said, these are the exact games that when you quit on your team and you're looking at the other team and you're saying, man, we ain't got no chance. These are the games where the NBA can really capitalize on betting dollars. To be completely honest with you, I've seen it too many times where everything's pointing in one direction and it goes the other. It's just seen it too many times. So I would not be surprised if the Lakers win this game by 10, 12 points tonight. But there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing in the data telling me that is going to happen. Nothing. They have shown me no reason to believe they're going to do anything at all, especially off a back-to-back last night where they basically quit. Our team has been fragile, man. Fragile-minded, you know. Soft would be the word. You know, the Orlando game, missing free throws, and we haven't played confident ball since. Winning to Denver and did exactly what we normally do against Denver. Had a nice little 10-point lead. Third quarter started. Scored 16 or 18 points and just let Denver do whatever they wanted to do. Lost the game, walked out of there with our heads down. And like I said, flew into Phoenix and did the exact same thing. I don't really know, man. You know, it was hard for me to get up this morning and study for the Spurs after that game I saw last night, because my thinking is, I don't know how many of the players are doing this. You know what I mean? That's my attitude. It's like, there are a lot of things I want to do with my day. The last thing I want to do is watch the team I've watched these last two games go into an early game situation when I'd rather do other things with my time, man. Especially when it's these early games that keep coming early in the season. It's like you got to sacrifice certain things in your day so that you can be here at 5:30 to watch them play. If they're going to play well, it's worth it. If they're going to do what they've been doing these last three games, I don't want to do it. I'm just being honest with you. And I know I'm not the only Laker fan saying this because I've heard other people say that. You know, it's hard to get up for them when they're quitting, man. It's one thing when they're struggling, injuries and stuff like that. But when they're quitting and not competing and just jogging back and letting we're playing a tournament situation where the score matters and they're just letting the score bleed. Then they playing defense in the fourth quarter, letting the Suns run it up, pushing past us in our tournament situation. I mean, a certain level of disrespect shown to all of us when that's what we're trying to compete in doing. And this is how they ultimately approach. You lost by 27 points. And every point matters. Not even putting a hand in somebody's face within the final 5 minutes as they're running the score up. Like, have you forgotten this is a tournament situation when you know what I mean? All the work that you've done to try to make yourself number one in the tournament, you gave it up in one game. One game. I just don't respect it. I don't know what I was seeing last night, but it was a bunch of trash. And now we got to turn back around and play a red-hot Spurs team. And I just hope that this is a betting man's nightmare. I hope this is one of those games where the NBA decides, you know what? We're going to capitalize on all these people betting on the Spurs. And we're gonna fix this game with our refs and make sure that we capitalize on all these bettors. Because that's exactly the type of game this is, to be honest with you. You're going to make a lot of money if you bet on the Spurs winning this game and the Lakers winning. Because if you've been playing close attention, that's exactly what the data is telling you is going to happen. So this is a perfect storm. And I think it could go a very weird way. I think that's exactly what this game is set up to be. It's set up to be weird. If the Lakers decide to show up at all. Now, if the Lakers play like they've been playing, they're going to lose by 35. The Spurs team's going to run them out of the gym, man. You know, Spurs are at home. They're fresh off of 4 wins in a row. The last time they saw these Lakers very recently, they played a really good game against us, and we edged out in a tournament situation. This is a team that takes a tournament seriously, and I'm sure they would love to have that game back. So when we're coming back into their building, and they're playing well and we're not, I have no doubt they feel like they can jump on top of us. That's just what it is. They feel like they can jump on top of us. And they got the type of vets like Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul who come in with a certain attitude that it has experienced in winning attached to it. And they're leading a bunch of very smart young players to the situation. You know, a guy like Zach Collins always comes in with a chip on his shoulder, always come in ready to not only play ball, but fight and antagonize others into wanting to fight. So I expect for antics from him at all times. You know, This is a very prideful team. This, like I said last time we saw the Spurs, they're an average team. They're not a bad team, not by any stretch of the imagination. And at this point, the way that they've been playing, they're a pretty good team. You understand what I'm saying? So for us to bring the attitude that we brought into these last 3 games into this one is asking for us to be embarrassed for the 3rd straight time. That's really what it is, man. Or 4th, if you want to add those missed free throws to it in Orlando. I don't know that Jackson Hayes will be playing. He looked real bad. I ain't heard no updates on his ankle. But last night in garbage time, he dunked the basketball and just some type of cramp maybe took place in a previously hurt ankle, or maybe something even worse happened. I don't know. But he ended up going to the locker room. It was like a minute and a half to go. He got hurt. So in a blowout game. So that, Jackson Hayes, I don't think played very well in that game. Obviously, he was fresh off the injury for the ankle. So we give him a pass for not playing well, but it just was what it was, man. I personally wanted to see more of Koloko. I just think Koloko gives me a more reasonable rim protector down there than Jackson's provides. Jackson has better hands, he's better offensively, but Koloko is a much more capable shot blocker. And I just value that more. On a team that has horrible defensive issues, we really could use the shot blocking. So that's what it was, man. But my thing with Koloko is he has stone hands. He doesn't really catch well. He doesn't rebound well. His hands are made of stone. So whatever that equates to in a lot of cases, he can catch a lob, but he doesn't have great hands, man. So that's a real flaw for Koloko. But I think that, with those stone hands, he could sure get a nice block and change shots. And I think we need that at all times. So, yeah, man, ain't a whole lot to like. One thing I can say that's been positive is that over the last 2 games, in these 2 blowouts without Hart, you've seen Austin find his efficiency. He's been hitting shots consistently. He was 50% last night. I don't remember what he ended with in the game before that, but both of these games he's been starting red hot, hitting a bunch of shots. So, that's been a positive, but that's about the only thing I can really take in terms of positivity. Ain't been much else. Bron's been turning the ball over a lot. AD's been underwhelming, just throwing the MVP at somebody else over the last 3 games. We've been missing free throws. I think we shot like 73% from the free throw line last night. Not going to get it done, especially when you're not shooting a lot of threes and the other team is. You get to the free throw line and you're not hitting a great percentage. Yeah, that's where some of the bad was for the Lakers. Turnovers and points off turnovers were really bad last night. These last 2 games, not even last night. We've been hemorrhaging transition buckets off of turnovers lately. So it's just been bad basketball, man. Like painfully bad basketball for the Lakers. So as we go into this particular game, we just hope that they can somehow just find some pride. I think that's what we're questioning at this point, is the strength of this team mentally. The pride and the fight is what is ultimately lacking. So one thinks that in situations like this, a team gets tired of getting their butt whooped, they're going to come in with a certain level of fight and ferociousness. But I think that's the very thing that's been getting our butt whooped, is a lack of that. A lack of togetherness, a lack of truth. And what that means to me is there are players on this team that we're not utilizing, that we could probably get more out of, but instead we'd rather use the people that we're used to, because, I don't know, it's us versus them, it seems. So it seems like there's a split in the locker room to me. We ain't going to let Dalton Connect lead us. I'd rather D-Lo lead us, and Gabe Vincent's going to get opportunities. We got to get Gabe Vincent going. And that type of stupid crap that really isn't real, that's not real. And that's what I have to say to the Los Angeles Lakers. You do understand that you're doing stuff that ain't real. We got to get D-Lo going. No, you don't. You literally don't. What you need to do is get the ball to Dalton Connect, feed Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Those are your 3 best players. What you do need to do is getting Quincy Olivari in here and use some of his confidence to lead you to surging buckets and opportunities, and maybe even some stops, since he plays better defense than most of the guards on this team. What you do need to do is make sure that if Austin is scoring the way he's been scoring, you continue to feed him for 4 quarters, not just for the first 2 and let him get red hot and then forget about him in the second half like we did last night. Like, these are the things you actually have to do. Feed Rui Hachimura, get him involved in the offense so that he can actually translate to doing anything else any other way. Because if he doesn't get his shots, he's not doing anything. These are the things you actually need to do. Playing Gabe Vincent is something you need to not do. You need to sit him and replace him with Quincy Olivari. These are things you need to do. You know, it's not imperative that you get D'Lo going. No, D'Lo has proven himself to be someone in a vicious slump, and his spirit ain't in basketball. He don't even look like he really want to play ball right now. He needs to be benched. Gabe Vincent needs to be benched. Like, these are things that you actually need to do. And so it seems to me that the Lakers have this idea about who's important on their team based on things that have been done and not necessarily on things that are being done. Last time we went into Phoenix, Dalton Knecht scored like 37 points, hit like 9 threes. And you barely gave him 8 shots in this game, or was 7 shots he was attempted in this game? What you have to do is identify a guy who's actually able to score 37 points, which the only other person who's able to do that is Anthony Davis at this point and Bron James. Those are the people that need to get the ball more, and the people that you're seeing struggle are the ones you need to get the ball less. These are things you have to do. So the truth needs to enter the equation, because the politics are ultimately, as DTLF said last night in his video, not politicking. If it leads to you failing, then all this stuff that y'all gatekeeping and all this, we're going to make sure this person gets the ball because he has a contract crap, it's going to lead you to being more and more inefficient on the basketball floor, and then it eats away at the overall team perspective of itself. And it eats away at the will of the team, because we know you live in a lie. You know you're out there doing stuff you have no business doing. You know you're prioritizing crap that can't perform over stuff that can, just because, well, it's just how we have to operate. And that eats away at it all, man. It eats away at the fans. It eats away at our capability of beating teams that don't have that problem. And it just shows us to be the clowns that we ultimately proven ourselves to be. We look like clowns, man. It starts from the top, making certain decisions, and it's trickling down to the basketball players and the coaching staff. We look like clowns right now. The clowns without a fight. Crying clowns. And so that's what I have to say about this team right now. I'm more than disappointed. I'm about tired of them, is the word. I'm irritated. I'm at a point where I don't want to watch them, like, for real. After years of Darvin Ham and his ineptitude and his choices that made zero sense, now we're entering into an equation where it seems like the team is still fatigued from those experiences, and that fatigue is also carried in the fans. So when we see them quit, we really don't care to watch them, and that's where we're at right now. So I'm going to watch this game because I have obligations to my channel and obligations to myself in the terms of the quality of what it is that I'm doing, that I'm, for myself, going to keep up with the team. But as far as if I didn't have a channel, I would not watch this game tonight. I would catch the highlights and I would do something else with my day, making sure that I spend it the way I want to, because this team has not made it worth it for us. They have not. Over the last 3 games, they have completely given up, and we got a lot of season left. A lot of season left. So that's really what it comes down to. If they're going to be in a lull for the next couple of weeks, I don't blame anybody for staying away from them until they figure it out, man. I really don't. So that's my attitude. Until they realize that Dalton Knecht and Quincy Olivari are, in fact, players that need to be in regular rotation, they're going to continue to leave a lot of meat on the bone as it pertains to the productivity and the potential of this basketball team. Yes, rookies. I know rookies can't possibly lead the NBA, right? Except for when they do. Except for when they're capable of going completely nuts. And the fact that this league just is staying in complete and utter denial about this leaves it not looking good from team to team to team. When teams do this, they just don't look as good, man. It's just an overall understanding that rookies need to rest, that rookies need to sit, that rookies need to learn, that rookies need to just pay their dues. All of those, played out old ideologies are why these teams that behave this way continue to lose basketball games. It's really the proof that is everywhere, man. And the Lakers are just one more team that's doing it. We have young players that refuse to play. We want to play our vets and our contract players. But they suck. Like, literally, fam. Gabe Vincent sucks. Can we normalize saying Gabe Vincent can't play ball, man? I understand what he looked like in Miami. But that's not who he is right now. That's not who he is, man. He's a reliable perimeter defender. No, he's not, man. He's a 6'2" guy that's bricking every shot he takes, man. He's getting beaten and getting shot over. He's not that good. He wasn't that good in Miami, but he's really not good right now. And because he's really not good right now, he really needs to be pushed down the pecking order, man. It is okay to remove him from the equation. You got Max Christie who needs to develop. You got Cam Reddish who's playing good ball. Use them a little more. If you refuse to use Quincy Olivari because your own set of politics, that's acceptable if that's what you want to do. But playing Gabe Vincent, continuing to bullheadedly play Gabe Vincent, it's not, you're not getting any production there, and you look like clowns doing it. This D'Angelo Russell experiment, I'm over it, man. I don't believe I can get a whole lot for him as a player. Maybe as an expiring contract, I might be able to pull something off. But at best, you're probably getting a role player for D'Angelo Russell that's not as talented as him. At this point, if it makes sense, pull the damn trigger and get him off the team. He obviously don't want to be here. That's the truth about the situation. D'Angelo Russell don't want to be a Laker right now, and it shows. I don't even think he wants to play basketball right now. He doesn't look in love with the game, to be honest with you. You know, it's like it's a chore out there for him right now. And look, you have a right to fall out of love with playing basketball. You have a right to fall out of love with being a Laker, especially after the experiences you've had here. It ain't been great. I'm not mad at that. What I am mad at is people trying to force him to basketball and us going down by 27 because of it. Him taking layups and missing shots and all this and that. You know what I mean? His attitude shows me he don't want to be here, man. And at this point, I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. I don't expect him to turn back into the D-Lo that we saw against the Philadelphia 76ers last year. He went for 47 points. He don't have that in him right now. He has that for somebody else, maybe. Maybe if you put him in a Nets uniform, he has that. But right now, for this unit, he don't have that. And we need to stop asking him to be that for us. That is a mediocre basketball player so long as he's on this team, it seems to me. And I know we have ebbs and flows with him, ups and downs. We talked a lot about it. But we're in a real down with him. And it don't look like he's coming back around anytime soon. So please, there goes some Quincy Olivari minutes right there. There we go. I just think people refuse to do what they know they should, and because of it, the team doesn't believe in itself, and that's exactly what I'm here to say. Dalton Connect, your rookies need to be involved in your regular rotation. San Antonio has their rookie involved in their regular rotation. Stephon Castle is going to be somebody you see a lot tonight. Okay, he's a very intricate piece of what they do, and they're a good ball club right now because of it. And if you look around from team to team to team, that's exactly what you're going to see. Are they playing their rookies? Yeah. Are they getting a lot of their rookies? Most of the times, yeah. They're getting a lot out of their rookies. This class that everybody said was the worst class ever is contributing all over the place. They're contributing to winning, to be exact. So I'm over it, man. This old man, veteran respect league, geriatrics league is not getting it done. It's not getting it done. And this doesn't count for LeBron James because he's still playing at the all-star level, even though I haven't been very pleased with him. It's not at all what I'm talking about. We're talking about these role players. We're talking about these dudes that can't play, man. They're showing it. The D-Los and the Gabe Vincents, they're not. It's go time. It's time to move on from these people, man. And if you can't get them off your team, then you need to allow their production to be what motivates their play. If they're not playing well, don't force them into doing nothing. Force them into the bench roles. So that's really what it is for me, man. I'm over it, leaning on crap that ain't working, asking vets to play better. Bench them. Start the rookies if that's what it comes down to. Your second-year guys, start them. Try something else. Rui Hachimura is starting to become one of those guys for me. He's not old, but he is starting to be a part of one of those, the roles of, okay, he has a contract, so let's force him into the starting lineup. Nah. And we talked a lot about Rui last night in the reaction. I like Rui. I'm not down on Rui. I just have lowered expectations for what I think he should be asked to do. And at this point, I think I know how to utilize Rui, and I think that our coach doesn't. If I'm being honest with you, he ain't figured out that there are certain things Rui can do and a lot of things that Rui cannot do. And if you don't put him on the floor to protect him against the things that he cannot do, it's going to be bad. And we've been seeing some bad from Rui. I know he's in and out of the lineup. He started the season real hot, so that creates the guys that he's just some great player. That, nah, man. Nah. His rebounding is bad. His defense is bad. And him finishing in the paint at times can be really bad. So we just got to figure out ways of keeping him on the floor with players that can do the things he cannot. And then just asking him to be the straightaway efficient shooter that he can be. And if you get him the ball in certain spots, in certain ways, he can be one of the most effective and efficient shooters you have. But if you don't limit what you ask him to do, it could be a problem. But the problem is, in limiting what you ask him to do, one of the things you don't limit is his shots attempts. You don't limit his shot attempts. I do not think we're feeding him enough. Just like Dalton's Connect. These are rhythm scorers. You get him a bunch of touches. Rui should shoot 10 shots a night. He really should. 10 shots a night. Dalton, 12 shots a night. You see what I'm saying? That's how we need to be doing things. You get him his looks. Boom, 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 boom. Feed, 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 feed. Mid-range 3, mid-range 3, mid-range 3. That's Rui Hachimura. If you really want to know. Mid-range 3, mid-range 3, mid-range 3. Get him his shots, man. Rhythm shots, rhythm passes, chest passes, straight to him, catch and shoot, let it go. If he wants to put it on the floor, get a jam, cool. That's cool, but that is not his game. You know, like, that's it. Defense, I don't ask him to defend nobody. Not really. If he's a weak side help defender in the block situations, he can block a few shots. But don't ask him to stand in front of no, you know, Kyrie Irving type guy, Brandon Ingram type of dude, Kevin Durant, whatever. Don't have him stand in front of those people. They're going to cook him. And this is the problem that I have with the Lakers right now. I like the guys that we have on the offensive end, but we have too many of these dudes that they can't stand in front of people like that. Austin Reeves can't stand in front of a guy like that. You know, D'Angelo Russell can't stand in front of a guy like that. You have no success. Dalton Connect can't stand in front of a guy like that. You have too many people that can't defend, man. Lakers. And the people that can defend can't score. You know, Max Christie can stand in front of a guy like that in theory, but he can't score worth a damn right now. His offense is bad. Cam Reddish, bad offensive player, can stand in front of a guy like that. So it's like you can never really have all of what you need on the floor at any given moment. And that's just why our ceiling is not very good as a team. So going into this game tonight, I don't think they have too many break it down type of guys that just break you down, take you off the dribble. But a guy like Steph Castle, you know, can do some stuff like that. And I think, you know, that's kind of where it ends for the Spurs. They don't really have that type of talent. Obviously, Wemby's his own monster who can break you off a dribble. But if you put any one of our guys in front of him, it's a foolish situation any damn way. So, yeah, man, I expect Anthony Davis to play well tonight because he usually takes the Wemby matchup very seriously, as we've often said. He always wants to outplay that kid. But the way that AD's been playing right now, I wouldn't put any money on AD tonight. Not on this night. This is a bad time. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is a bad time. This is a bad time to be running into Wembanyama. So, yeah, man, I don't know. My betting gut tells me that the Lakers will win this game because I've seen too many situations like this where everything's pointed at the Lakers winning. And, I mean, the Spurs winning and ultimately the Lakers do. You know, I've seen this in so many different ways, both being on this side and being on the other side of it. It's just everything tells me it's a trap game for the Spurs that they need to guard against very seriously or they're going to get beat. But the truth of the matter is we're the bad team coming in right now. We're playing bad. We're showing no heart. We're looking like we don't want to be out there. We're looking like we just want the buzzer to save us from our own failures. And, you know, we're afraid of certain teams. Guys turning the ball over. Bron is in cosmos as it pertains to his playmaking. He's just giving the ball to the other team, jumping in the air and throwing the ball behind him, type of weird stuff that I saw him do last night. I'm just like, what the hell are you doing, bro? And that's the problem. It's like when you got all this other crap going on, the last thing you need is LeBron James to have his head somewhere else. And that's exactly what I've gathered. His head ain't been in basketball. I don't know what's going on off the court. I know he mentioned something about, you know, not wanting to be on social media. His son is injured, and people are wondering if that injury is legitimate or they're just hiding him because he looks not so great out there. I don't know, man. I think Bron's probably going through something that ain't got nothing to do with basketball, if I'm being honest with you. But he needs to get his head back into the game, and the rest of this team needs to follow, because right now, if our leadership isn't going to play better, you can damn sure be certain that the rest of these dudes' confidence is going to be in the toilet too. I don't trust half of them at this point mentally to show up on a basketball floor, man. And the ones I do trust, our franchise just doesn't want to use. That's where we're at. So I don't think anybody's going to be able to make a trade that's going to make anybody happy. Like I said, that your desperation to make a trade does not move the market. All it does is raise the price tag on everything that you're paying for. So if y'all want to throw picks at role players, you can probably make a trade. Otherwise, don't expect us to make a trade. We got to fix our problems without trades. And that is not something I'm happy with. In fact, it's something I rather hate. But it doesn't take away from the fact that that is the truth. And one of the themes of this video is truth. Nobody's walking through that door. You better fix what you have in-house, man. And if Rob Pelinka's able to make a trade, you better hope it ain't that bad. Because believe me, if you think this year's team suck, you give away 2 picks for a role player, and the teams you're going to be watching in years' future is going to be a lot worse than that. Just know that early. So that's my point of view, man. I'm tired of this bipolar unit of Laker basketball. I don't like it. I grew up on Kobe and Shaq, bro. As I keep telling y'all, we didn't have mental issues. We didn't. When it came to our mentality, we always stomped on it, whoever. And if we got stomped, we came back and we beat up whoever. This team ain't like that, and I'm tired of it. That's my attitude. So hopefully tonight they play better. But they should be a little fatigued coming off a flight after a butt whooping. It's just a bad time. BDL 44. I thank you all for watching.